And the Grammy goes to Babel, Mumford Sons.
Producer Marcus Drives.
New Generation, that was the big winner at last night's Grammy Awards in LA. Here with more is WSJ's Jim Fusilli with all the action. Now, Adele won everything last year, so it was nice of her to sort of give out some awards last night. Interesting, I was talking to you a bit before we went on. You weren't impressed with last night's event.
I thought it was a disaster for music. I mean, it might be great for the music business. It might be great for the commercial side. But these bands are about as bland as you can get. It seems that the Grammys made some sort of stand that they were going to introduce new artists and new music. They may have introduced new artists, but they didn't introduce new music. They have a tendency to go for what's safe, what's processed, and what can sell, and that's certainly what they did last night.
Interesting. All right, we're going to go to a list of the 4 big winners now. Mumford Sons won Album of the Year, which is typically the most coveted award. You didn't like this album, or you don't think it doesn't impress you? It
doesn't represent what's going on in today's rock and pop scene. It's certainly a pleasant album. They are certainly a competent band. They work really hard to be liked, but you know, alternative music, alternative country music, Americana, which we call it nowadays, neo-bluegrass, all the things that they touch upon are actually done much better by other groups.
So is there a sort of a disconnect between the music makers that you think are really fresh on the scene and what are the future of music versus what sells? I mean, we had the big Justin Timberlake performance, you know, coming back. I mean, obviously the showmanship, I mean, does that not resonate with you in terms of what significance right now in the music industry?
Well, I think, you know, much like fast food, the Grammys want to sell as much as they can to the greatest number of people as they can. It's a television show that's highly entertaining. It's very much in line with the American Idol type programs and the sort of country music award programs and Golden Globes and those kind of things. But it's not really interested in cutting edge. It's not really interested in blasting out really what's happening across the far ranges of music. They want to prepare and present something that's safe and palatable.
So when we look at Best New Artist, Fun, Song of the Year, We Are Young, they took that award as well. Why do you think the Grammys would have chosen them? I mean, how does this process work in terms of who wins versus, as you say, who's really doing the music in the industry?
It's interesting about Fun, as Ethan Smith points out in today's paper, they've been around for 12 years, so they're not exactly new
overnight success, right?
Yeah. You know, it's the kind of song that works very well in a television commercial. It was on several commercials during the Super Bowl, for example. It's the kind of song that you can remember and sing instantly. It's the kind of thing that, you know, people like to think of themselves as young. And you know, it's totally inoffensive. And
is that what musicians strive for these days? Is that really the golden prize, is to get on commercials and to be that song that is played all the time? Obviously, the people kind of with the pop song. I mean, it must be difficult for these bands to navigate in this new world of music and selling music and iTunes and how it all works.
Yeah, I think that if you have a certain commercial approach to your music, that's what you want. But you know, that's not what musicians do. You know, musicians don't think commercially all the time. Right. They think about making great music, and if they find an audience and people buy it, that's fantastic. When you flip that around, what suffers generally is the music.
So where do we go from here then in the music business? What's the next step?
I think everybody who watched the Grammys last night and was displeased should look at who's playing at Coachella this year, who's playing at South by Southwest, load up a playlist on Spotify, and just blast out today's best new music.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a spectacular show. I'm glad you came in, though, with your perspective on how it influences the music business and what's going on. Thank you so much. That was Wall Street Journal's Jim Fusilli.